Hello, everyone. This is Yuti Doshi from One Mantra Mental Health. In today's episode, we are going to talk about breathwork with Kristina. First of all, I would like to thank Kristina for joining us on this show. Kristina, please tell us something about yourself. Before she tells something, I would just like to acknowledge that she's from the US, currently residing in Mexico, and she's a breathwork coach. So, yeah, here you go, Christina.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much again for bringing me on here. So you already said where I'm from, but I guess I'll talk about my journey and why I became a breathwork coach. Um, I do more than breathwork. Basically, I help women, sensitive women, who are overwhelmed by their thoughts and emotions to find peace within their bodies. And the breath helps as I grew up being a very sensitive child. I was sensitive to everything, not just, my emotions, but I was sensitive to the food I was eating. I was sensitive to like products and clothing and things like I would get skin rashes and things like that. So I was just sensitive in every sense of the word. And I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. I didn't know how to handle my thoughts. I didn't know how to handle tough situations or stress. So over time, not knowing how to deal with all of that eventually led to me dealing with debilitating anxiety and depression. In July 2017 is when it started. And at that time, it was as if everything that I hadn't dealt with my whole life just like smacked me in the face, pretty much. And during that time, I think I hit my lowest rock bottom. And when you hit rock bottom, you have nowhere to go but up, right? So I just became obsessed and started this ongoing quest of figuring out how to heal yourself mentally, emotionally, physically in a more holistic way. Um, I'm not against taking medication or anything like that. You have to do what's best for you. But I wanted to personally avoid that. So I was just searching for all these different ways that would help me overcome what I was dealing with. Because there is a root to everything. So I started trying different things from yoga, meditation. I was listening to podcasts to hear other people's stories who had overcome what I was going through. I would watch YouTube videos. I did hypnosis, acupuncture. I went to 3 different therapists. I tried it all. Energy healing, because I was determined. And I knew that once I got to the other side, I would be able to use everything I learned to help others do the same.
So I really
And
want to stop here, sorry, but what made you so determined? I mean, when you hit rock bottom, sometimes we are so discouraged and we don't want to do anything. But what made you, what motivated you to do this for yourself?
it's an interesting question because sometimes like I ask myself that question, what was it in me that made me that determined? I think it's a combination of things. I have that type of personality, one. Two, I listen to that whisper, that when your intuition, when your soul is speaking to you and says, Kristina, there's more to life than this. You are not meant to live this way. I listened. And when you listen to that whisper once, it takes you somewhere. So it took me to a podcast. I listened to that podcast. That podcast took me to another podcast. So then I fell in love with that podcast and heard all these stories of all these people overcoming like their worst moments, like terrible, terrible situations. And I thought to myself, like, if they can get over that, like death and tragic like pain that they were going through, I was like, I can overcome this. I know I can overcome this. And then there was another voice, though, that was saying, you're stuck like this forever. You're never going to change. So it's really distinguishing which voice to listen to.
Yes,
And
that's
sometimes the voice that's telling you that it's not possible is louder. So it's listening to that whisper until it gets louder and louder than the negative voice.
and now Christina has her own podcast, Self Healers Society podcast,
I do.
right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it's my baby. It's like the thing that saved me initially from my rock bottom is what I created now so that I can spread that as medicine.
That's something about, we all humans have, and that is resilience. You have shown how resilient you are. And I think we all sometimes forget how resilient we are. That's what we,
Yeah.
when it comes to listening to our inner voice, I think the moment we start listening to that little voice inside us, that'll make the change.
Yes. Yes. And
So,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just coming to my question about, when you are going through such phase in life, many times it happens that it manifests in your body in terms of illnesses. And there are so many people suffering with migraines or diabetes or cholesterol problems or even
Yeah.
skin diseases and things like that. So, uh, I want to ask you how important it is to understand this connection of our mind and body.
Okay. It's extremely, extremely important. When I was going through that debilitating anxiety and depression, my gut went like stopped working basically. Like I stopped eating. I couldn't like take down food. So I lost like 10 pounds. And for me, I can't afford to lose 10 pounds. I went to the doctor and they said, you are underweight. You need to gain your weight back. I got skin rashes and my eczema went to a level it's never been before, ever. I had it around, like, if I could show you a picture, it was around my eyes, it was around my mouth, it was all over, it was all over my hands. Like, it was, everything was getting affected. Your brain and your gut are connected via the vagus nerve. So they communicate with each other constantly. So if you're stressed, your body will pick up that stress. Your body will speak to you. Your body will tell you like, hey, we need to heal this. We need to heal this. And my eczema was telling me, it was like, if you're not going to listen to your mind, if you're not going to be present and understand that you're going through that mentally, your body will come out and say, hey, we need to do something about this. And that's what my eczema was doing. My eczema came out physically and I saw it in my face, like, I need to do something about this. So once I started working through healing my stress and I discovered breath work, I was able to not only calm myself down and heal my nervous system, um, and heal myself mentally, I healed myself physically. I was calming my nervous system down, which eventually, when you calm your nervous system down, it helps your digestive system work better. It helps your blood pump better. It just trickles all into different areas of your life. So every system is connected, from our brain to our digestive system to our endocrine system to our breathing system. All of our systems work together, so when one is off, the others are likely to follow. And for instance, studies have determined that stressful emotions can decrease immunity by altered blood cell function.
Yes.
So stress affects you not only mentally, you don't feel it just mentally, you will feel it in your body. And your body always tells you the truth. Your mind is designed, your brain is designed specifically to protect you. It's designed to look for danger. So if you've dealt with some type of trauma, or if you dealt with some type of um, intense emotions in the past and they weren't processed properly, they weren't processed healthily because we weren't taught how to do that growing up, right?
Yeah.
It gets trapped inside your body. And then you don't feel safe in that body. So you start to get stuck up here in your mind, constantly thinking, constantly trying to prevent yourself from getting into that danger, constantly trying to prep yourself for things so that you don't end up in danger, always thinking of the future, always thinking of the past. And when you learn how to breathe properly, when you consciously breathe, you bring your attention to the breath, you are anchoring yourself into the present. The breath is a messenger, it's a teacher, it's your medicine. And when you can bring it into your conscious awareness, you can create a channel or a bridge between the mind and the body.
Right. I would just like to add here, as you rightly mentioned, uh, when we are suffering through physical ailments or even mental stress, we try every alternative. We end up taking so many medicines. We end up doing everything external, but pay attention to our breath. So I
Mm-hmm.
really want to understand what exactly is breath work. I mean, we we have never been taught to breathe. This is what we have been doing always, but still,
Yeah.
now, in such times we need to learn to focus on our breath. So I really want to know exactly what do you do when you say that you are a breathwork coach or where you help people with breathwork. How does it work?
So, breath work really is any form of conscious breathing that has the power to put you into a different state mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. It's something that's been done for centuries, but people are now starting to take it to different levels and making it their own ways. Um, but they're taking it like from a spiritual to the scientific, and kind of some are blending it. Um, what I do with clients is two things. I help them with, so there's two different categories of breathing, I would say. There's the active breathing, which is the conscious breath work that you do to bring yourself to a different state. So if you're doing like breathing, like holotropic breathing, or you're doing rebirthing, or you're doing Wim Hof, those are to take you to a different state. Those are to, for some, to release emotions that are trapped in the body. Those are for some people to connect to a higher power, to connect to their intuition. And then I would say there's passive breathing, which is how you breathe on a daily basis, the unconscious breathing that you're doing. So I will give my clients a certain type of breath work to do every single day when they wake up in the morning, when they go to bed, when they're feeling stressed, when they're feeling anxious. And my favorite is the 4-7-8 breath, which I can show you later if you'd like. The 4-7-8 breath, which I'll have them do every single day, so that because they have so much tension in their body, by doing it every day, you're kind of teaching your nervous system to be in that more calm state or the parasympathetic state instead of constantly in the sympathetic state. If you're breathing every day fast, shallow, from the chest or from the mouth, you've trained yourself to be in the sympathetic state or the fight or flight state constantly. And that is not good for your body. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your emotions. So if you can get yourself to retrain the way that you breathe every day through the nose, from the diaphragm, breathing more slowly, then you can retrain the nervous system to be in that calm state, which helps other systems other systems in the body to work more properly.
Right.
And then the second part is that active breathing I was telling you about is I'll also give my clients that as well. So that is more for deeper work. That is more for connecting with their intuition. That's more for releasing emotions that they've trapped in their body, emotions that they haven't allowed themselves to feel in the past. this gives them the space to get out of their head and to get into this space where they feel safe to just release, to just let out everything that they've been holding in. And as we were talking about earlier, the mind body connection, when you're holding that pain and those emotions in your body, that can turn into physical ailments, it can turn into mental illnesses, it can turn into just overall pain, even spiritual pain.
Yeah, right. So, actually, this is a really beautiful thing, and I think we all can learn it, right? If we pay attention.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This work is for everyone. It's the only function in the body that we can do consciously and unconsciously. When you think about it, you can go weeks without food, you can go days without water, but you can only go minutes without the breath. It's one of the most powerful tools we have that is naturally within us. And we don't realize it every day. Like I was telling my dad about this and he was like, "What do you mean? I know how to breathe. Like I'm breathing every day." And I'm like, "Yes, but like if you can consciously learn how to control the breath and and use it to change your state, change the way you're thinking, change the way you're feeling, then you can learn how to control your life, essentially, master your life." So, on top of that, we take 25,000 breaths a day. And if most of them are done improperly, then you can end up with a multitude of issues from asthma to sleep apnea to anxiety to, in some cases, when you're younger and if you breathe through the mouth, you can restructure your face. Your face won't look the same.
I did not
So,
know that.
mm-hmm, your teeth, like it can make your teeth like really uh, crowded. So it can make your teeth really crowded. It just like changes the shape of your face. If
That's
you look it
really
up, you
interesting. And I think
yeah,
it's so ironical that most of us forget and we all breathe wrong. I mean, while you
yeah.
were talking, I realized how fast I breathe in my day-to-day life.
Mhm.
So,
This this is really important. If you just like I put in my phone, I have like an alarm in my phone several times a day that says, "How are you breathing?" to
mm,
remind me, breathe through the nose. I even got to the point where I was wearing tape at night when I was sleeping because I understand now how important it is to like consistently breathe through your nose. Your nose is meant for breathing, your mouth is meant for eating. That's it.
yes, totally. So, could you please share one technique which our viewers can also apply in their daily life?
Of course. So the one that I mentioned earlier is my favorite. I tell everyone about this. I have friends who use it. I've had people on my Instagram love it. And then I've had my clients use it. And that was the most interesting to see when I have my clients use it and they do it consistently. It's for some, it's changed their lives. For others, it's just changed their relationship with anxiety. It's like fascinating to see it because I've seen it work with myself, but watching it work for other people is just, it's like magic. So this one is called the 478 breath. It's created by Dr. Andrew Weil. So basically, all you have to do is
I'll do it with you.
perfect. So remember, we're breathing in through the nose. You can breathe out through the nose or out through the mouth, whatever works best for you. So sit up straight. And then we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. So breathe in, hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's 4, 7, 8. I said 7 the last one, but there was an extra second there. So You breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and then exhale for 8. It's really important that the exhale is longer because the exhale is what triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. It's what calms down your body and your mind when you're in that state. So when you do that about 4 times, so it'll take you like 5 minutes just to do that in the morning, 5 minutes at night, and it can create such a drastic change. After just a couple weeks, even a week, you will most likely see a difference. So you do it 4 times in the morning and at night, and then record the difference. Start recording yourself. So today I feel this, or yesterday I felt this, and then notice how you've changed.
Okay, so since we have tried this, I really want to know. I'm really curious about any one case. You might like any story of your client who just through breath work has changed. If you could share.
Sure. So I had one client who I assigned this breath work every single day. And on top of that, we would do the more active breath work that I was talking about to release emotions. And she came to me originally with really debilitating anxiety. And she couldn't sleep at night. She couldn't see her house dirty. She would freak out if she saw anything dirty, anything out of place. Like she just felt overwhelmed on a daily basis, and she felt tension in her body. So I assigned her the 4-7-8 breath every morning and every night, and then throughout the day whenever she felt stressed. So after about a week, I got a text message from her like, oh my God, I feel the tension leaving my body. Like I feel less tense and I feel less anxiety. Then over time, I worked with her for 3 months. She had a rapid transformation. And of course, there's other factors in that because we talk every week, we do mindset work, and we did other work around her anxiety. But without that component, she would not have had that outcome. She would have been missing a component because, like I said, you can work with the mind with anxiety or with stress, but without working with the body, you're missing a huge part of it because we are not just a mind, we are not just a body, we are both in connection. So if you're working with one, you have to work with the other, especially when it comes to stress or anxiety, because stress and anxiety are trapped in the body.
That's amazing how a life can change and how we can change our own mental health just through breath work.
Yeah.
I really want to understand here for people who are not so much aware of their own emotions. For example, the example that you gave of your client, maybe she was quite aware of her anxiety. Many people are not.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you suggest there? Because it takes time for some people to understand, and it also requires patience
Mm-hmm.
to make this work. So, what would you suggest there?
So people who are not aware that they're suffering from anxiety? Okay.
Yeah.
So the people that are not aware, there has to be something that you're noticing that's off. There's got to be something, whether it might not be your breathing. It's not going to be their breathing. The first thing that they notice is not going to be their breathing. It's just going to be, okay, I find myself, attacking people because I feel very frustrated, which is a symptom, of anxiety. I find myself like freaking out very easily when I'm doing something that's not that stressful, or I find myself not being able to be in crowds or whatever. If you find that you are dealing with certain things that are not allowing you to live your life in the way that you are meant to, then that's something that you have to look into, because without being aware of yourself, without being aware of the issue, you can't fix the issue. So the breath is one way to bring yourself into the present to become aware of what's happening, to train yourself to be more mindful of how you're living your life. So it's very easy to be stuck in like our subconscious mode, to be stuck in this like zombie mode of just living your life day to day without being conscious of what's happening. It's very easy because our
Especially
subconscious.
with this work from home environment, people are, there is no boundary between personal life and work life, and people are just waiting to get an off. So I think what you suggested will really help. That is being
Yeah.
mindful of how you're living. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for all the information that you have given, Christina. I think this is a really simple thing, and I think most of us are aware. But practically doing it is what matters. And I
Mhm.
hope this episode helps people to understand their own breaths and be aware of their own body and how they are breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope so because it can be life changing. It's changed my life in a multitude of ways. I could talk about it for hours.
Yes, thank you so much. One last request would be for our viewers. What is that one thing you would want to tell them?
Hmm. You is there's three really, I spoke about this earlier, but I feel like it's really important to repeat this. There's three components that are really important. Your daily habitual breathing is the most important. So the three components. One, breathe through the nose. Bring this all into your conscious awareness on a daily basis. Breathe through the nose. There are so many benefits to breathing through the nose, from filtering the air before it gets into your lungs to producing nitric oxide, which is like the holy grail of gases for breathing. And then two would be train yourself to breathe more from the belly, from the diaphragm, rather than breathing from the chest. When you're breathing from the chest, you're breathing more shallow and you are causing yourself more anxiety. And, the world does not need that, especially right now. And then number three is to breathe more slowly. Like you said, you're noticing yourself breathing fast. And sometimes I really notice myself breathing fast. When you're anxious, how do you breathe? Fast, shallow. So you don't want to be in that state all the time, that fight or flight state all the time. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your mind. So when you're breathing slower, you're calming down the nervous system and in turn, making your body function better. So the ideal is to breathe 5.5 seconds in and 5.5 seconds out. So 6 breaths per minute, but that takes time to train yourself. But just if you just focus on those three things, breathe through the nose, from the diaphragm, and slowly, you will see changes in your life.
Thanks a lot, Christina. I'm sure these three things are going to help. I am going to start this from now, and I'll definitely message you when I see a change. But for our viewers, if you have any questions regarding breathwork, you can definitely DM me or Christina or leave your comments, and we will be happy to help you with breathwork or anything related to mental health as well. Thank you all for watching this episode, and thank you so much, Christina, for joining me. Really glad to have you.
Thank you again so much. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Bye.